Welcome back, friends. If this is your first time on my channel, my name is Jennifer Mitchell Early. I help individuals and teams achieve organizational and personal success, and this is Leadership Matters. As an undergraduate at Ohio University, I took a class on planning programs for adult learners. At the time, I was interested in minoring in business, but I couldn't find any real traction or interest in marketing and finance classes. I did have some interest in human resources, so the class on planning programs for adult learners piqued my curiosity, especially since I had transferred to Ohio University from another institution where I was an education major. However, once at OU, their College of Education was set up a bit differently. You couldn't take any professional level classes until you passed the PPST. That's the Pre-Professional Skills Test. I was already taking professional level courses and was in a classroom in an area public school at my former university. So I took the exam. Let me just say that I'm not a great test taker. Two graduate degrees later, and this is still true. But when in Rome, so I took the PPST and didn't have a good feeling about it. I actually believe that I failed the exam. At least I was certain that I failed the math portion. At the time, my intended degree was a BS in education with a certification in communication, which would have allowed me to teach speech from kindergarten to 8th grade. Being the proactive person that I am, I began to research other majors just in case things didn't work out with the College of Education at Ohio University. To make a long story short, I decided to major in communication with an emphasis on organizational communication. As a result, I took a class on planning programs for adult learners, and I fell in love. I shouldn't have been surprised considering that I was previously an education major. I've always had a love of education. What was it about this class that brought me back to education and led me to pursue a career in learning and development for the last 20 plus years? Quite frankly, I love everything about education. I love the challenge of getting to know your students or participants in the case of adult learners. I love watching the light bulbs turn on as they begin to understand concepts and apply what they're learning. I love creating an atmosphere where participants are given permission to experiment and are encouraged to think outside of the box, where they are allowed to speak their truth in safety so that we can identify blocks and overcome hurdles to their progress together. I love being a tour guide on the journey to becoming a more proficient, confident, and capable version of themselves. Education, training, facilitating, teaching isn't always easy. It certainly comes with its challenges. Every learner is different. You still have to have classroom control and be able to monitor and manage the environment. You'll still have disengaged and even disruptive students and participants who don't want to be in class or training, and you still need to know how to not let them disrupt the learning process. Everyone has a different learning style, and you need to be able to address and reach everyone. Not everyone sees the value in continuing education and will not want to invest the time, money, or resources, including people. Money and time constraints. You will almost always be expected to turn around training on a dime or in an instant. Lack of autonomy on your part. Being told what the problem is and what the training education should be. Lack of accountability on the student participant's part and or on the client. No performance, evaluation, or adoption plans in place to identify the ROI of training. Nevertheless, I have found this a rewarding and fulfilling career. I have used it as a foundation for ministry, for secondary education, politics, business, and personal endeavors. Being able to create educational programs from scratch customizing it to my client's needs, delivering it with creativity, ingenuity, and enthusiasm while helping individuals and teams achieve organizational success is my purpose. No matter what area of education you go into, you must love it and you must advocate for your learners. Now, let me clarify. Loving something doesn't mean that you're always in love with it or even like it. There will be situations and circumstances that drive you crazy and have the potential to drive you away. However, when you love something, you're dedicated to its greatest good, meaning you are willing to stick it out, hone your craft, and see the good in the most challenging of situations. Whatever I can do to make the journey easier, more efficient, and effective for my learners, I do it. It hasn't always been easy, but it's always been worthwhile. This is why I love learning and development. If you found this video valuable, please hit the like and subscribe button as well as the notification bell so you'll be notified every time I upload new content. Have a great week.